All right, good morning, world. Wednesday, March 30th, 2022. About 7:45, sun is up. Just about to go behind that giant cloud. Bike is mostly loaded. I'm going to pick up the cot. That's about all that's left on the bike. The rest goes in the backpack. Yesterday the wind was blowing so hard I didn't really want to walk outside here and get the whole experience. So, that was my neighbor. He's leaving now. Black van. I was always going to go talk to him, but I'm not a people person either. So anyway, came with a fire pit. I didn't see any firewood around. I guess you're supposed to bring your own. I got to thinking about it. I'm like, I don't really want to start fires on this trip because then I'm going to smell like smoke all the time. So anyway, for $10 a night, you get 3 walls with holes in them and a roof. I didn't see any holes in the roof. Maybe that's how the real estate market should be. It's like, oh, how many walls do you want? We can get you a deal. How many do you need? Yeah, something like that. No, this one doesn't even have the sign. The ones further down had a sign, $10, and then whatever number it was, which unit it was. Yeah, if the wind, because the wind was blowing this way, if it would have rained with that wind blowing, the rain would have came right through the slot, and I don't think I could have found a really good dry spot. I'd be moving around trying to duck it. But the wind slowed down last night, so it wasn't so bad. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, life is good. I got another warm shower last night. That's just a good thing. I'm learning the tricks, as you're taking your shoes and stuff off, hit the shower the first time so a little bit of water runs, then the heater comes on or, has time to, I don't know if it's on demand or how they're working it, but you figure if you got 10 feet of cold water in the line, you don't want to be standing in front of it, so let the first one run. Then by the time you're ready to jump in, it's good to go. Perfect. So that worked out really good. Yeah, it is nice at the end of a day on the bike to just sit there and let the warm water run over you for a little bit. I live in the desert, so I'm not wasting any water, but I figured a couple extra minutes wouldn't hurt. And we got some water here, so don't waste it though. Anyway, anything to add? I'm looking at, I think, 75 miles today. With the clouds, I don't know how much solar I'm going to actually get. I got a good charge now. It's just about full. I'm going to have a tailwind. And depending on, I think in the later afternoon, it's going to kick up again to 15 or 20 miles an hour. And then it's going to depend on how much crosswind and how much tailwind I get. If it's controllable, you can really go. If it's gusty or bouncing you around, it really wears you out. So it's not as much fun as you think it would be. But otherwise, yeah. Although thinking about it, if I gave myself, if it's 8 now, so if I give myself 10 hours, that's 1800. That's 6 o'clock. I'm still before dark. So if I can do 7.5 miles an hour, and I almost can without the electrics for a couple hours, but not for very long. But if the road is cooperating, we could probably do it. So it's still cold. I've been walking around with my mask over my face just to keep my face warm. It's not like 40 or something. I don't know. It might be close to 40, 45 maybe. It's not warm, so we'll start with our jacket on and peel off layers as we go. That was the one thing. If I had a lot of money beforehand, it's like I'm just wearing sweats, and this jacket isn't too bad. It's actually a decent jacket, but the guys that are doing hiking and biking a lot would have lightweight layers that they can take on and off easily that pack down to basically nothing, and everything I have is bulky and heavy. So I don't really have good rain gear. I did buy some rain pants. I've got the poncho I can wear, and I figured if I just wore this jacket, I probably would be okay. But it's not like real biking rain gear. So next year we'll get it right. And looks like the sun just went behind the cloud. Perfect. Anyway, last little bit of pickup, and then we hit the road. There is some blue sky, just apparently not where the sun actually is at the moment. So we're on I-25, actually on the freeway. There isn't a surface road in this area. It's kind of a toss-up. I mean, obviously there's more traffic, but we're midweek, I guess. Not weekend, I don't know. The thing is, though, I've actually got a really big shoulder here, so it's not a big deal, right? I was laughing, though, when I came on the on-ramp. There's a big sign, no bicycles, no pedestrians, and then below that was a small sign, bicycles, please stay on shoulders. So I'm like, okay. Considering I don't see any alternative between here and there. First hour, I've been going almost an hour. I've gone about 10 miles, so I'm hanging pretty close to 10 miles an hour average. I think it'll get better now that I'm on the freeway because it's a lot more level. The surface road, the access road, was a lot more ups and downs. The freeway, they level more of that out so you can get a better cruising speed. So I'm running higher gearing now. Haven't been doing much electrics except for if I needed to get up a hill. So most of the first hour I've been pedaling. I took my jacket off. I do have a tailwind. Yeah, I do have a tailwind, so that's helping. Take that for all it's worth. Forecast was in the afternoon the tailwind was going to get stronger, but it's still 5 to 10 miles an hour, I think, now. So it's more of a gentle breeze. It's not blowing me over, so that's nice. But I'm thinking if I can, I've only got about 60. I was going to look down at the GPS, but it's on the phone. Anyway, about 65 miles to the next campsite now. If I can hang at about around 10 miles an hour, that's 6 hours. That'll get me there by 4 o'clock. So with a break, I'll still be there well before dark. So we should be fine. Yeah. It's kind of funny. I do have a mirror, but it's a wide angle. It's really hard to actually see something until it's really close to you. So I'll hear something 20 seconds before it gets here, and I'll look at the mirror and I can't see anything. So it's like, well, I know they're coming, but I can't hear them. I mean, I can't see them. Yeah, it's kind of a weird game. All right, forward and onward. Sun! I've got sun! I'm like, I'm going to stop for a minute and just let this guy charge. So take a little break, drink some water, eat some snacks, because we got a hill coming. So I'm going to try to watch the shadows and get going before it looks like I'm going to run out of sun, so I can still get a little bit going back up the hill. What really is miserable, I guess, I just came down a really big hill and I was dragging brakes all the way down because I don't want to go too fast. This is not exactly made for speed, so it's better than it was. It's definitely better, but you still feel like, yeah, I don't really want to go too fast. So you get almost to the bottom, then you let off the brakes, and it feels like a gravity rocket. You just let off the brakes, and it feels like you just punched the throttle. Yeah, but I do not want to be a grease smear on the road somewhere, so we'll enjoy this little bit of sun while we can. We're getting about 2 amps to charge, so get it for a few minutes. I've been pulling the batteries down. I've been trying not to use the batteries this morning if I can at all to help it, but I'm like, well, I'm not yet in good enough shape where I can ride 70 miles pulling the trailer without using the batteries, so that's what they're there for, I guess. It almost feels weird though. It's like, they finally got charged, I don't want to use them. It's like, no, that's the purpose. That's why they're there. All right.
Well, it's not a stellar day so far. It's about 11:30. I keep pulling the batteries down. There just isn't any real good solar today. At least at the moment, the wind isn't blowing too hard. It was supposed to be. I thought I was going to get more of a tailwind. For a while I had a crosswind, and then I had a headwind for a while, so that just takes the fun out of it. I'm going to stop and take a lunch break now. I've still got about 50 miles to go to the campsite. I'm not making good time, but I mean, it's 50, I think 50, yeah, about 50 miles. So if I could do 12 miles an hour for 4 hours, I'd still be there by 4 o'clock. I'm not doing that though. I'm doing closer to 8 and 10 because I can't run the battery very much. So then and we're getting into some rolling hills again. So I think 75 miles on a sunny day would have been easy. You know, it's just not. So I had stopped for a couple short breaks, and I think what I really need to do is just stop, take at least a half an hour break. The sun might break out. We'll get a little bit. I mean, even on a cloudy day, you get a little bit. And if I can give myself a lunch break and kind of recoup, and then hit it hard again. I already paid for this campsite. I mean, it was only $6, so at least I know I have a place to go when I get there. If the hills aren't too bad, and honestly, the GPS, it showed one good climb, and I think that was about it. Oh, that hill on the last clip where I stopped at the bottom to charge, the sun went behind a cloud about a minute after that, so I didn't get really very much. I ended up walking up most of it. I remembered a cool feature though. The bike has a walk assist mode. So you hold the button down for a couple seconds and then the motor starts running at just about a walking speed. Okay. So what that means is I'm off the bike, walking beside it and helping to push it a little bit, but it's also helping, and it won't go faster than I can walk. So that actually, it's like, take my 200 pounds off of the bike. That gives the bike a lot better chance of making it up. It got up the hill and used hardly any battery. Whereas if I was on the bike in first gear, pedaling my butt off, I was burning a lot of power. So it made more sense just to get off and walk, which seemed funny, but I remember looking at the ground thinking, okay, I'm not going any faster than a walking speed. I might as well just get off and, you know, whatever. Get more style points for finishing than you do from blowing up the motor or something. So yeah, it's not coming up very fast. We're only getting about half an amp right now. Earlier I was getting 2 amps. Whatever. Lunchtime. Well, it's raining over there. I've got a couple of drops on the solar panel. I was getting cold, so I put my jacket on, and by the time I got it half zipped up, the sun came out again, but it's just right on the edge. I'm still wearing the sweatpants, sweatshirt, and now the jacket, just trying to, I'm getting a lot of exposure from the wind, I guess. So it's hard to get used to that constantly. Anyway, I'm doing as much work as I can to take the load off the batteries. I just walked up another hill. But if I would have rode with the electrics up the hill, I probably would have knocked the batteries offline, and then I'd have to stop and figure out how to get that going again. So, okay, the other side of those trucks is where I was fixing the spoke. There was a big open gravel area. I didn't see all the picnic areas at first, and I just figured, okay, let me get out of the way. So for now, I'm leaned up against the fence so I can get some solar. I think I'm just gonna bunk here tonight, get in the corner, or I get out of the wind a little bit. If anybody everybody has a problem with it. I'm sure they will see my point. In high winds, it's not safe, and it's going to be dark in 3 or 4 hours, and I'm not getting the solar. Although as soon as I decide I'm not going to, I see a lot of blue sky, right? But I also see rain clouds all around me. So, yeah, if I can avoid this, it's like the storm was going to be 2 or 3 days. I think tomorrow it'll be a little bit cloudy and it's supposed to clear up after that. So this just seems like a better option. So yeah, anyway, yeah, according to the flag, it's a good crosswind. Yeah, look at all that blue sky, right? I should get a good battery charge out of this tonight, though, before it gets dark. I looked and I forgot. I think I'm at 39 already. Yeah, 39.6, but I need 41.5, so it's got to come up a ways. I'm only getting 0.7 of an amp right now, so may or may not get it. Okay, the short version is I didn't make very good miles today. In the morning it was really cloudy, and then by the afternoon when the clouds started to break up a little bit, I had such a crosswind it was getting really hard to ride. I realized I had a broken spoke or two, and I was just going to pull off on an off-ramp, and then I saw a sign for a rest stop 2 miles ahead, so I figured, okay, let's go ahead and go there. So I go ahead and pull in, change the spokes, kind of like my prediction from last time. It took me just a little bit over an hour to do it all, because take the bicycle apart, get the trailer off the bike, get the wheel off the bike, get the sprockets off, then the tire off, find the spokes, dig around, get everything out. Okay. Time I got it all put back together, it was about an hour and 10 minutes altogether. All right. By then I'm tired. I was tired anyway. I wasn't making the miles. I was going to be really late getting to the campsite that I thought I was going to get to. I got almost exactly halfway, and this was by 3 o'clock, but by then I'm like, okay, I don't think I can make it. I wasn't getting the performance out of the solar. I was still working, but I couldn't keep up. And then I lost an hour changing the spoke, so I was like, well, I'm looking around. There's rain clouds all the way around me, but I'm getting a sun break now. But with the crosswind, it was just really difficult to ride. So what I came up with was well, I'm already at the rest stop because I stopped here to change the spokes. And there's shelter from the wind and the rain. They got these picnic areas I'm in here. All right. The bike is just over there. I'm going to bring it in a little bit, but it's still charging, so I figured, all right, we'll get a good charge. Tomorrow the wind should be much less, and the day after we should be back to sunshine again. So I'm like, all right, so it sets me behind a little bit more, but if I had a choice between pushing on, but then where am I going to? I can't make it to the campsite, so then I'm looking at wild camping somewhere randomly anyway. Here I got restrooms and water. I found a tap so I could fill up my water bottles. Okay. I got plenty of supplies because I just hit the Walmart, so I've got, 2 packages of survival cookies and a bunch of Cliff bars and granola bars, and still got some cans of chili and everything, so just sit put here and be in a relatively safe place instead of some random place out in the wild somewhere. So yeah, and then from here I'm out of sequence from where I wanted to go, because the campsite I was going to go to, it's 20 miles from here, or maybe 30 miles, so it would have been a really short day again. And since I should have a good conditions day tomorrow, I should be able to get past that. Now, if I end up having a really hard day tomorrow anyway, for some reason, I'll keep that one in mind. The other option is about a 70-mile ride from here, which on a good day I should be able to make. Then I get to some places where truck stops are again, and
I'll figure out a better place to park so they don't make me move. Then it's about another 70 miles after that to Albuquerque, I think. I don't know. I started looking ahead a ways, and then I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter because I don't know if I'm going to make a 40-mile day or an 80-mile day. So it doesn't make sense to look too far ahead because I'll be looking in the wrong spots. You know, I know the route I'm going to take. I just don't know where exactly I'm going to stop every day. And that's kind of weird. I'm used to being able to, you know, if you're riding the motorcycle or when I had the van or something like that, okay. I mean, I could make 1,000 miles in a day if I didn't stop. You know, I've done that before. I don't recommend it, but here, can't make 100 miles in a day unless it's just crazy good conditions. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm not where I thought I was going to be, but I'm in a good spot. So I'll take that for what it is and we'll try it again tomorrow. And I keep remembering, it's like, okay, if I can average 50-mile days, I've got more than enough time to get to California. Okay. Oh, one last thing. There was one bit of good news. The deposit that I sent in for the race went through. So that took it about a week, I think, to go through. Yeah, anyway. The second half of the entry fee I'll pay when we get there. They said that was fine. They just wanted the deposit up front so they could cover the expenses of getting us all set up and everything. So anyway, so that was the one ray of literally the one ray of sunshine today was when I saw that went through. So I got an official confirmation that it went through. So I'm like, yes, okay, one thing worked. So anywho, it's almost as good. Ironically, where I'm at now is almost as good as last night. It's not. I'm not registered to camp here. You're not supposed to camp at rest stops, but usually it'll say something like limit your stay to 8 hours or less. So, you know, if I had a car to sleep in, I'd sleep in my car. Yeah. Anyway, I kind of think that, like, an actual law enforcement person probably would let me slide. It's the bureaucrats that are going to give you trouble. You know, most people that know safety stuff would realize that, yeah, it's better to be here than to be out there. So do your best to be a good camper and pick up trash and don't cause any trouble and everything be okay. Yeah. All right. As always, thanks for all the support and welcome to all the new subscribers. Thanks to all the Patreons and YouTube members. And anybody who's been sending money on PayPal, that is much appreciated. Seems like every time I turn around, I end up walking into Walmart for one thing and come out with $40 worth of stuff. So, you guys are keeping the wheels moving. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Bye for now.